late September of 2012 in Berlin. 33 young professionals from all over the world, from Algeria to Vietnam, came to the German capital to discuss their ideas on how to fight climate change. The Friedrich-Ebert Foundation invited teachers, students, lawyers, all of them socially engaged and eager to make progress on environment.
I was excited about the opportunity to discuss with other like-minded young people the challenges associated with climate change, because I think that our generation is going to be the generation that's going to make the change towards a more sustainable future.
And it's also good to have people from different countries, to have cultural exchange, professional exchange, and to have networking.
To get more knowledge on international politics and negotiations and how it works, international politics on climate change. To learn more so as to be a future negotiator for my country someday.
At the beginning of the week in Berlin, a real expert on climate policy addressed the group. Ernst Ulrich von Weizsäcker founded the Wuppertal Institute for Climate, Environment and Energy. His claim: decouple economic growth from carbon emissions.
It's fantastic that the young get together, talking about the real questions of the future, and show some engagement for it. I believe it's a great adventure.
The next 2 days were all about a role-playing game. In advance, everyone had prepared a certain role assigned to them. For example, Roberto from Mexico became Goshi Hosono, the Japanese Minister of Environment.
Now the key aim is that the participants get the opportunity to better understand how politics actually work. They take on roles of different state delegations and need to stick to the interests and positions of these countries, and then try to find some common ground with the other delegations.
At a formal banquet dinner, the climate conference was officially opened. But still, not everyone had internalized their role completely.
I'm here to welcome you all. I'm Ban Ki-moon.
The next morning, all participants were serious about the simulation game. Just as in a real climate conference, the formal talks soon came to an end. During informal negotiations, developed countries agreed on their demands, and so did the developing countries.
We call for the greater commitment by the developed ones, and South Africa is a developing country with very high risk.
We are the countries with the most vulnerable impact of the dangerous consequences of climate change.
I mean, it's totally absurd that China would be put in the same group of countries that have developed for over 150 years.
While the United Nations moderated the process, the delegates negotiated package deals to find a consensus. After 2 days of heated discussions, the climate talks ended with an agreement to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. The Berlin resolution was signed by all presidents and prime ministers from Wen Jiabao to Barack Obama. Nevertheless, the outcome failed to live up to the high expectations of many country representatives.
The countries and all the different interests, all the different contexts, cultures, political realities, economic realities. It really has been a huge challenge and quite exhausting to try and balance all those interests in the hope of reaching resolution.
I'm really scared, because if we as environmental activists made such decisions, then what kind of decisions would the actual diplomats make?
And another way to think this question of climate change, so I think it will be very good to come back to Brazil and share with my partners what I've learned here.
In the evening, the young people left their roles of the simulation game behind. During a boat cruise on the river Spree, they got the chance to talk to real negotiators. They gave them an inside view on the hard work at climate conferences such as the one in Durban 2011.
Compromises in reality might be more difficult to be found. Therefore, here the situation is less complex than realities usually are.
The next step was to develop an own young agenda on climate change, collecting ideas in small groups. What is more important, the national interests or the higher value of humanity? What should happen on a local level? what could be alternatives to UN climate summits? Questions this generation will have to find the answers to.